to go down there and play.
John, we didn't see Lamar out there. Any updates on him?
Yeah. He got his foot stepped on, like we said yesterday. I think Chad had mentioned that. They did a quick X-ray, and there's no damage or anything like that. I'm sure it's a little sore today, so we just kept him in, but he's fine. He's going to be good.
How much of a relief is that for you after doing that?
It was a big relief, yeah. I told the guys, I said, prayers do get answered, because I was praying. God came through. So, but he's good.
Do you sense around this time when it's getting closer to the roster cut down, is there a different, especially with the guys that know they might be fighting for their NFL lives here, is there a change in just the this environment or atmosphere or anything like that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think there's a subtle change.
I think they've already changed the topic there.
But no follow up on the wrist.
I do wish that they, like, when he said X-ray, I was like, did you X-ray the foot or did you X-ray the wrist?
Can we keep going though, just in case
All
there's
right,
a follow up?
We'll keep listening.
Yeah,
there's a subtle change toward okay.
Let me get live because this question is not.
Guys' minds.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in, John Harbaugh is meeting with media right now.
Chandler Martin, Chandler Martin. Sorry. You kind of see yeah, Chandler's looked good. I think he and Jay have both done a really good job. Will Quanco's doing a good job before he got hurt. But those guys have played good ball. They've learned the defense well and played well. And I've done well on special teams, so very happy. He's in the mix. He's one of those guys in the mix for sure.
We haven't seen Patrick hard in a while. Is everything okay with him?
Yeah, he's got a little soft tissue thing. We're just holding him out this week. Should be back next week.
When it comes to roster cuts, how much do you weigh what you see in practice versus what you see in the game? Because it's not always easy.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a kind of a combination of both. You factor in both. I mean, the body of work in practice is important because there's so much of it, and it does give you a real good foundation. I think the games are kind of like the front porch in the yard. I mean, the games are the final piece. You want to put it all together and see guys do it under the lights as well. So it ties together that way, probably.
John, we're talking to Tyler Santucci soon. Curious for perspective, what's he been like in his first training camp here?
Yeah, Tyler's done a great job. He's a heck of a coach. He proved that in college, as a defensive coordinator at Georgia Tech and all the stops before that. Came highly recommended. But he's a very detailed coach. He's very determined that the guys have a clear picture, of what their job is. And I think he's a really good teacher. So all those things, he's doing a heck of a job. I know he's motivated. He wants his guys to play well, and you really appreciate that as a head coach. Okay, pretty straightforward. All right, great, thanks. All
right. So Sarah, we were waiting for the follow-up, which is why we wanted to continue with the press conference sound that you just brought in. So well done there. But no follow-up ever came in terms of kind of checking in on what many saw within the beat reporter community with that wrist/hand. So basically, if you're just tuning in, the only new update is that Lamar underwent an X-ray. So an X-ray was had. There is no damage to the foot that was stepped on. We don't know who stepped on it, but Lamar's foot was stepped on. It led to his abrupt exit from practice after a couple plays, mind you, where he hung in there. And so, and then obviously prayers were answered according to Coach Harbaugh. So that's where we're at. I mean, obviously it's a bummer that the follow-up never came in there, Sarah, because it kind of leaves a slight bit of unfinished business, if you will. But there you have it.
But maybe the wrist thing is something that, we're lashing onto, right? Like maybe that's why no question was asked about it. Like to me, when they were asked, they were talking about the wrist, maybe they didn't feel like it was enough to, I don't know. I mean, I for sure am with you. I would have liked it and just say, hey, John, we saw him clenching his wrist, just to be clear. Like this is like a foot injury that was x-rayed. Like there's nothing going on with his wrist. I think that would have been good because so many reporters noticed that. So there's that. But I'll say this: the way John Harbaugh talked about it. We said this at the top of the program. You're like, are we going to get anything substantive, right? And I said, I think that if it's fine, he'll be detailed. If it's not fine, he'll be vague. I feel like he was detailed enough to where I feel like, does it mean he'll be back at practice tomorrow? I don't know. But to me, I feel comforted enough, and everybody else can have their own reaction. This is mine, that I feel comfortable enough that I feel like he'll be around week 1, especially when Harbaugh said prayers do get answered.
Yeah.
That to me is like him expressing personally relief because he was concerned. And so I feel like if it was something more serious, you wouldn't have heard Harbaugh say prayers get answered. So
Well,
that's probably what comforted me the most.
I got you. We likely won't hear much about this or see anything about it for the foreseeable future, at least over the next few days, because there's no practice tomorrow.
Correct.
So no practice tomorrow. Preseason finale in Landover, where Lamar and a slew of other guys that are going to log a lot of snaps this season will not play. That's Saturday. Sunday, I assume Sarah will be off. I don't know. We'll see what they do on Sunday. And then, Monday will be a fresh new start of practice week, but it's all going to be different because on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, this 90-man roster needs to be trimmed to 53. So I'm with you. Generally, I am with you on that interpretation. And that's what we just learned from John Harbaugh a short while ago.